Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good. Academic reading. And we are going to start off with it. First, we will read the title. Pulling strings to build pyramids. Now, pyramids. Where are the pyramids? Pyramids are in Egypt. Okay. Who said Marid ke? Egypt. Okay. Yeah. So, we've got pyramids in Egypt. And they say pulling strings. Now, when you pull the string to build pyramid, it means they are going to tell us about how they built the pyramids. They pulled a string, like there are some very heavy blocks in pyramids, and even today people are doing some research on that how did they bring all those blocks there, because at that time they didn't have any cranes and all that stuff, right? So pulling strings to build pyramids. Now we understand they will tell us how they built pyramids. Okay, if you don't understand, then you can read the subtitle. No one knows exactly how the pyramids were built. Marcus Chown reckons the answer could be hanging in the air. Hanging in the air. Now let's see what is that answer could be hanging in the air. Means answer is not clear. Okay, right after that, and remember one thing, you are not supposed to read all the passage. Students say, well, 700 to 900 words in each passage, but you're not supposed to read all the passage. You're just supposed to read, if there are 13 questions in one section, you're supposed to read 13 sentences in the passage, and those 13 sentences will give you the answers. Okay, is it easy? 13 sentences and you find the answer, but reaching those 13 sentences will actually require some skill and all that. Now let's make a start. True, false, not given. Question number 1. Okay, now the first thing is true, false, not given. Questions and answers are in order. The location where you find the answer of question number 1, you just read on, you will find the answer of question number 2. Then the next line, next sentence, or after 2 sentences, you will find the next answer, and it goes on like this. So we call it type A questions. Type A means questions and answers are in order. Okay. Now, in true, false, not given, sometimes there is a word that decides the answer, true, false, or not given. Otherwise, there is a phrase. A phrase consists of 3-4 words that decides what is the answer. So when you read the question, you need to identify that this is the thing which will decide whether the answer is true, false, or not given. I tell you how. Question number 1. It is generally believed that large numbers of people, underline large numbers of people, were needed to build the pyramids. It is generally believed. Now underline generally. Okay. So large number of people built pyramids. Now if it is generally believed means people generally believe that they needed thousands of people to build pyramids. Large number of people, for that they may use the word thousands of people. Now let's go back to the passage. And one more thing. The first 7-8 questions, usually they start from the first paragraph, or maximum second paragraph. The first 7 questions, okay? So, let's start. First paragraph. Pyramids of Egypt were built more than 3,000 years ago and no one knows how. The conventional picture is that tens of thousands of slaves dragged stones on sledges. Conventional picture. It is generally believed. Tens of thousands of slaves dragged stones on sledges, and in the question they use the word large number of people. What's the answer? Absolutely. Answer is true. Got it? Large number of people and tens and thousands. It is generally believed. Conventional picture is that answer is true. Got it? Question number 2. Clemens found strange hieroglyph on wall of Egyptian monument. Now Clement found strange hieroglyph. And now if you don't know the meaning of hieroglyph, don't worry about it. Okay, it's some sort of painting made on wall of a mountain or anything like that. But don't worry, if you don't know the meaning, doesn't matter. Just take it as it is. Clemens. Clemens can be a name or person or anything. Clemens found a strange hieroglyph on the wall, underlined wall, of an Egyptian monument. Now look here, look here. If Clemens found strange hieroglyph on the wall of Egyptian monument, answer is true. If he found that picture not on the wall, somewhere else, it is false. And if they don't tell us the location of the picture, whether it was wall or book or painting or something, then it is not given. Now the clue word is Clemens and hieroglyph. Let's go back. Found the word Clemens? I told you questions and answers are in order. So I'm reading it from there. Now a Californian software consultant. Found it? Everyone? Good. Now a Californian software consultant called Maureen Clemens has suggested that kites might have been involved. Try to understand. He thought they lifted all the heavy stones with the help of kites. While pursuing a book on the monuments of Egypt, underline the word book, she noticed a hieroglyph that showed a row of men standing in odd postures. Now she saw that hieroglyph where? Book. Read again. While pursuing a book on the monuments of Egypt, she noticed a hieroglyph that showed a row of men standing in odd pictures. Now the location of hieroglyph, come back to question. Clemens found a strange hieroglyph on the wall of Egyptian monument? No. She found it in a book. So answer is false. Well done. Got it? All right. Question number 3. Garib had previously done experiments on bird flight. Now look here. Clue word Garib. And what do you need to find? Underline this word previously. Garib had previously done experiments on bird flight. Now if he had done experiments previously, answer is true. If he did the experiment for the first time, he didn't do it before, answer is false. And if they don't tell us the word previously, if they don't tell us whether he had done experiments previously or he had not done experiments previously, if this word previously is unknown, answer will be not given. Okay, let's go back. Can you see the word Garib? Yes. It's the next paragraph. Okay, I'm reading from there. Contacted Mortaza Garib, aeronautics professor, and when they describe him, aeronautics professor from University of blah blah blah, leave that. Just come to the second line. He was fascinated by the idea coming from Iran. I have a keen interest in Middle Eastern science, he says. He too was puzzled by the picture that had sparked Clemens' interest. Object in the sky apparently had wings far too short and wide for a bird. The possibility certainly existed that it was a kite, he says, and since he needed a summer project for his student Emilio Graf, investigating the possibility of using kites is heavy. Have they mentioned anything that he had done experiment previously on that? No. So the answer is not given. And I'm reading it loudly, it's taking more time. When you're going to do it on your own, you'll do it very, very quickly. And remember, for IELTS reading, when you read, your lips should not move. You are not even allowed to whisper in actual exam. Okay, very important. If you're reading it like this, the invigilators will come and say, shh. So when you practice, practice with your mouth shut. Okay, because if you practice, if you're lip-syncing and in actual exam they don't allow you, you will be very uncomfortable. Okay, so that's why read it in your heart. Okay, question number 4. Garib and Graf. Now both, we will see where they mention Garib and Graf. Tested their theory before applying it. Now underline tested theory before applying. Now if they tested their theory before applying it, answer is True. If they tested their theory without applying it before, if they applied their theory before without testing it before, then it is false. And if they don't tell us whether they tested their theory before applying it or not, then answer is not given. And you should know that if this is the case, it's true. If that is the case, it's false, and otherwise not given. Now look for Garib and graph and theory. See that? Third paragraph, Garib and graph. Garib and graph set themselves the task of raising a 4.5 meter stone column from horizontal to vertical using no source of energy except the wind. Their initial calculations and scale model wind tunnel experiments convinced them. What does it mean? Their calculations, initial calculation means, initial calculation means Garib and graph tested their theory before applying it. Now how did they test? Number one, initial calculations. And number two, scale model wind tunnel experiments convinced them. They had done some experiments before. So they had tested their theory before applying it. Question number 4, answer is true. Question number 5, success of actual experiment was due to high speed of wind. Have you noticed I'm not reading article? And in question number 5, how many articles are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 articles. That's why option is long. So if you don't read article is a, an, the, or some, like that. Alright, now this is success of actual experiment was due to high speed of wind. Now look here. If their experiment became successful because of high speed of wind, answer is true. If their experiment became successful and the wind speed was normal, then answer is false. And if they don't give any information that the experiment became successful because of high wind, they don't mention high wind or speed of the wind anywhere, then it is not given. So success of actual experiment was due to high speed of wind. Now look for speed of wind, a paragraph with 120 kilometers and this and that and all that. Look for the word wind. Found it? Second page, second paragraph. Everyone found it? This is called location. If you are at the right location, you will find the answer. And if you are at the wrong location, you will not find the answer. But you will find the answer, yeah. That will be the wrong answer, okay? Anyways, now, question is clear in your mind? Experiment became successful because of the wind speed. Wind was blowing at gentle 16 to 20 kilometers an hour. Underline gentle. Now gentle, is it fast? No. Gentle 16 to 20 kilometers an hour. Little more than half what they thought would be needed. Little more than half. It means they had thought they needed some wind, but that was little more than half. Like for example, if they were expecting wind speed 50 kilometers, it was 25 or 26 or 27. So little more than half than they thought they would need it. What they had failed to reckon with was what happened when the kite was opened and there was a huge and all that. Now just follow this. Wind was blowing at a gentle 16 to 20 kilometers an hour. Little more than half what they thought would be needed. And now we come back to the question. The success of your actual experiment was due to the high speed of the wind? No, false. Why false? Because the speed of the wind was not high. It was even half of their expectation. So that is why answer is false, because high speed of the wind, and there they use the word wind was blowing gently or gentle. So that is actually false. Question number 6. They found that as the kite flew higher, wind force got stronger. For example, kite flew higher, wind force got stronger. You understand? So let's see. They found that. Same paragraph. Okay, I'm reading it from third line. There was a huge, got it? Now let's read it. There was a huge initial force 5 times larger than the steady state force. Garib says, read this sentence carefully. There was a huge initial force. Initial force means when they flew the kite, there was force 5 times larger than the steady state force. Garib says, this jerk meant that kites could lift huge weights. Garib realized that's it. Even a 300-ton column could be this and that. Now come back to the question. They found that kite flew higher, the wind force got stronger. Not given. There is no information. They did not say like the kite flew higher. For example, if the kite was at 100 feet, wind force was this. If it was at 200 feet, it was this. So there is no information given on kite flew higher, wind force got stronger. Yes, they said only one thing. They said initially, as they mentioned here, there was a huge initial force. But as the kite got higher, wind force got stronger. There is no information on that. That is why answer is. And one more thing. For not given also, you need to read a line. And sometimes there is no line. You skim read the whole paragraph and then you realize there is no information. Now it's not that for not given you read all the passage. Not like that. Okay? And by the way, if you don't find the answer to a question, for example, you're doing question number 5 and you don't find the answer. Leave it. Do question number 6. Because answer of question number 5 is going to be between 4 and 6. So later on you can go back to that. Okay? Now let's go on. Team decided that it was possible to use kites to raise very heavy stones. Now if team decided means conclusion, that it was possible to use kites to raise very heavy stones, so answer will be true. If they decided something else, if they decided it was not possible to use kites, answer will be false. And if they were indecisive or they didn't decide this thing, then it is going to be not given. Let's go on. Okay, now for team, he used the word Clemens. Clemens was right. Pyramid builders could have used kites to lift massive stones in place. Whether they actually did is another matter, Garib says. So, Clemens was right. Pyramid builders could have used kites. Could have used kites means pyramid builders in the past could have used kites to lift massive stones into place. And if you read on, the evidence for using kites to move large stones is no better or worse than the evidence for the brute force method and all that. No, this is not connected. Now just focus this sentence. Clemens was right. Pyramid builders could have used. Now, Clemens was right means that is the decision they are making. Whenever you decide something, you say, yes, he was right. Or, yes, he was wrong. That's your decision. He was right or he was wrong. So, pyramid builders could have used kites. Now, what's the statement? Team decided that it was possible to use kites to raise very heavy stones. Answer is true. Absolutely. Got it? Practice will make you perfect. And remember, for true, false, not given, one sentence of the question has one sentence in the passage. So it's just like 1-to-1. One sentence in the question and the right one sentence in the paragraph, and then you can find the answer easily. Okay? Thank you.